Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about superfoods, and we're going to show you a bunch of superfoods, specifically around 7 recipes from the Mediterranean diet. First, I want to just tell you what a superfood is. A superfood is a food that is nutrient dense, usually high in vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. It's something that usually has studies that show that it's good for your body. Now, the Mediterranean diet is packed with superfoods. Today, as I said, we're going to talk about 7 recipes, but within each recipe, we're going to talk about one superfood. So, meanwhile, over here, Winter is going to be building a superfood superhero, and he's going to make the superhero out of the superfoods. So we'll see how that goes as I'm talking about them. So before we get to the recipes, I want to tell you about the superfood that is in all of these recipes and is the mainstay of the Mediterranean diet, which is extra virgin olive oil. So extra virgin olive oil is high in monounsaturated fats that are good for your heart. And if you get the kind that has a spicy burn to it when you take a little sip, that burn is basically it's polyphenols, and polyphenols are a very strong anti-inflammatory. And so our first part of the superfood superhero is extra virgin olive oil. All right. So the first recipe we're going to talk about is sautéed Swiss chard with garlic. And of course, garlic is a superfood, but the superfood we're going to talk about is Swiss chard. Now, Swiss chard is, first of all, it's a bitter green, so it's really good for your immune system, but also a cup of Swiss chard has 300% of the vitamin K you need in a day, and vitamin K is good for blood clotting and bone health. It also has 100% of the vitamin A you need in a day, which is very good for your eyes and your skin, and 50% of the vitamin C you need in a day, which is good for antioxidants and immunity. Now this recipe, sautéed Swiss chard and garlic, super easy. That's all it is with some olive oil. But this is going to be the cape for the superhero. So let's see what he can do with that. Really? Okay. So the second recipe is a chickpea salad with avocado. Now, chickpeas are a very strong superfood, but avocado is a wonderful superfood because, first of all, it is high in monounsaturated fats and healthy fats. It's also high in fiber. And so this avocado is something that a lot of people make things like avocado toast with, and super, super good for you and a wonderful superfood. And are you ready for the head? This is going to be the head. I'll take the sticker off. You just put the sticker in the back. How's that working? Okay, good. All right. The next recipe that's a superfood recipe is Italian red pesto with sun-dried tomatoes and arugula. Now, a lot of people wouldn't think to make a pesto with sun-dried tomatoes, but it really makes a beautiful, delicious, rich pesto. The other thing that's in it that also makes it rich are almonds, and that is a superfood we're going to talk about for this recipe. So almonds are high in fiber, they're high in magnesium, and they're also a plant-based protein. They're really, really good for you. They have some omega-3s. They also help support your blood sugar. And so we're going to add that. Why don't we make those the eyes, or just make that the whole face? The next superfood that we're going to talk about is parsley. And there's not a lot of times when you're going to get a lot of parsley in a recipe, but you will in this recipe, which is tabbouleh. Tabbouleh is basically a Lebanese parsley and lemon salad, and usually it can have bulgur wheat, or you can make it with quinoa. But The main thing that's in the recipe is parsley. So when you eat a tabbouleh, you're eating a ton of parsley. And parsley, if you're eating, let's say you eat maybe 3/4 of a cup of tabbouleh, which would give you about a 1/2 cup of parsley. And that is going to give you 50% of the vitamin C that you need in a day, 20% of the vitamin A you need in a day, and 500% of vitamin K. And parsley supports bone health, it freshens your breath, and it's also good for your kidneys. How's it going over there? Good?
Tape does not work on avocado skin.
Oh.
So, here, I'll keep working on that.
I have an idea for you.
Okay.
Toothpick the tape.
Pick the tape.
Toothpick the tape. The next superfood we're going to talk about is salmon. Now, even though this is a smoked salmon that we're going to use for Mr. Superfood over here, the recipe that I want to talk about is salmon with yogurt, lemon, spinach, and capers. And this recipe is just packed with superfoods. Everything, the spinach, the lemon, the capers even, and of course the salmon are all superfoods. Plus there's garlic and olive oil. But with salmon, the thing that makes salmon a superfood is, first of all, because it's one of the highest foods in omega-3 fatty acids. And omega-3 fats are really good for brain health, really good for your whole body, your immune system. And so it's super important that you get enough omega-3 fats in your body. And most people don't get enough omega-3s. And a couple places you can also get them from walnuts, so healthy nuts. But salmon is one of the best places, fatty fishes in general. Now, I'm going to give this to you. How are you doing over there? Okay? Okay. All right. It certainly is a superfood man. Are you giving it a haircut?
It's got a buzz cut now.
The next superfood is yogurt. And yogurt is something that's really high in probiotics, calcium, healthy protein. It's just an overall great food. And the recipe is cucumber yogurt salad with fresh mint, lemon, and olive oil. Again, everything's a superfood, super packed with all kinds of nutrients. And this is going to be part of the torso. There you go. So the final superfood that we're going to talk about are beans. Now, beans are high in fiber, they're low in calories, they're really good for your heart. One of the best superfoods, highly eaten in the Mediterranean diet. And the recipe that we're going to be using this in is one of our highest superfood recipes, which is a super detox greens and beans salad. So this is like Wonder Twins. Wonder Twins, activate.
Wonder Twin powers, activate!
So these are going to be the legs. What I wanted to say about superfoods is if you cook them in the right way or prep them in the right way, they are super delicious and really, really good for you. And so I hope that you add some of these superfoods and try some of these recipes. If you're interested in any of these recipes, you can link to the recipe below. And also we have an infographic with a list of Mediterranean superfoods. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, live with purpose, love with abandon, and eat with passion.